Here we go. It is the BCJ podcast right here on BearcatJournal.com, brought to you, as always, by our good friends at the Holy Grail. Sunday, Super Bowl. Sounds like a perfect time to head down to the banks. They'll have the TVs going throughout the banks. Big time party. Make the Holy Grail home base as you're getting ready for and watching the game on Sunday. I'm sure we'll get to the game at the end of the show. I know Dave's excited. He's getting ready to fly out tomorrow to La La Land, soaking up some sun. Are you packing light, Dave? Do you have easy access to your summer clothes? Because apparently it's hot as hell in LA right now.
Yeah, I'm not actually looking forward to that. Like, I want it to be warm, but not like 90.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with LA
I don't need a heat advisory.
The thing with LA is, as long as you're by the beach, it's not bad.
Well, we're
But
not by the beach.
by the beach, right? The game's not by the beach.
And like Monday or Tuesday, we're there till Tuesday. We leave early Tuesday morning. I think Tuesday or Wednesday it drops to like great weather to leave Ohio for
78 degrees and sunny,
even lower, like high 60s, low 70s. Like,
so what LA typically is like in February.
Yeah, which would be perfect to watch a football game at. But now I'm going to be sweating my ass off.
Well, it's inside.
It's in a canopy. It's not in a dome. It's open air stadium.
Yeah, but I mean, you're protected from the
right.
sun.
I mean, you're in the shade, but it's still. I mean, it's still going to be warm. But yeah, it should be. I've got all sorts of fun things planned. Different places to go. See if we can run into some celebs. We'll be going out with some celebs, or us celeb, while we're there. So,
and you, like you're a.
Well, I'm not the celeb. I mean, I've not been in a television show or a major motion picture, so I can't count myself as a celeb.
You're the co-host of one of the most successful podcasts in Greater Cincinnati.
One of the most successful Cincinnati Bearcat podcast in Ohio.
We are the most successful Cincinnati Bearcat podcast. I think overall we're in the top 10 in the city. That would be my guess. But so, no, you're a local celebrity.
I'm excited.
I imagine. I'm sure Pops is pretty excited as well. So we'll get to that later, I'm sure, as we get through the show. There's not a ton going on right now, but we'll figure out a way to milk a show out of it, right?
I think we can talk about a couple things.
You since it was do you want to do most recent first or start from the back and work forward?
Dealer's choice, whatever you want.
Since it's your expertise, we'll talk Senior Bowl.
All right.
We'll start there first. We talked a little Monday. People have gotten my thoughts on it, but I'm sure they're interested in Draft Guy Dave and his overall thoughts on the Bearcats and their week at the Senior Bowl.
Let's see. I would just start off by saying that everyone had a good week, which is really all you want to do. You want to start the process off on a good note, and everyone did that. The second thing is that unless you have an abject disaster performance, the game itself means virtually nothing in the evaluation process.
Right, because it's so random and choppy, and
right. I mean, you're subbing guys in and out. Like, offensive line play is always an issue. I remember when the Bengals were the coaches there recently, and they had like guys getting hurt. Guys were playing every single snap, moving all over the place just to get guys looks at other positions. Like, it's a mess from an offensive line standpoint. So while it's you obviously want to play well, the days leading up to the game are infinitely more important than what you do in the game itself. But it was still nice to see, Des play well. I thought Maije played really well. So it's a great first step, and then you get all those guys plus Brian Cook invited to the combine, and we're on our way. But starting with Dez's week, last time we were on, we were kind of like at the midway point of the week, and he did pretty much exactly what I expected. Got progressively better as the week went on, and then in a live setting, I felt like him. And again, it's hard to compare because, like, Malik Willis played well, but a lot of his stuff I felt was because he had to run around, and that, shows off a lot of his natural ability. Whereas Dez, they ran the ball a lot with Dez and gave him some good, some pretty easy throws to tight ends, which he still did very well on bootlegs, and did throw one really nice layered throw kind of over the linebackers in front of the safeties. But I thought him, Willis, and Kenny Pickett were kind of the three quarterbacks that I think stood out the most in the game itself. It's gonna, the hand size thing is always something to laugh at, but with Pickett,
it's significant.
And here's the thing: is he could have just got his hand measured. It would have been talked about being small for a week, and then it would have been over with. By not doing that, it's now like a talking point is going to carry on to the combine. When he gets it measured at the combine will be the story of the day, whenever that is. But we can laugh at all these things, but there are benchmarks and thresholds that turn out to be true. And whether it's hand size, arm length, PFF does a great job of kind of showing you what that means. There's a DB from Auburn that I like, Roger McCreary. His arm's measured in under 30 inches. There's been 5 DBs in the last, I don't even know how many years, to start on the outside with arms under 30 inches, and none of them are really any good. So we can laugh at some of these, his hand is 8.5 inches or whatever. But there's data backing up those things, and Pickett's
it's the outside tackle thing, their arm size, their arm length. Yeah.
But Pickett's hand is crazy small.
And there's something, his thumb is all
his thumbs are double jointed, so when it doesn't, it comes in instead of how you can flex your hand out and stretch it out. Because it's double jointed, his thumb bends in a little bit, and that's why he wears the gloves. And it's well under 9 inches, which is basically the bottom line where teams are they start to worry. He also had 36 fumbles in his career.
So it's a factor.
Exactly. So I'm interested to see how much it becomes a factor, because I think Dez will continue to build off of what he did, and we feel we talked about it last week. It's a scouts versus coaches type thing. But I still think I think the number one quarterback thing is still wide open. Malik Willis has tantalizing physical traits. He throws the ball. I mean, not that this thing matters that much, but his velocity was measured at almost 10 miles an hour faster than Josh Allen's.
Yeah. He can sling it.
And
he doesn't know where it's going.
Well, he's a truck in the lower body, but he's a work in progress. He played for Gus Malzahn and Hugh Freeze. Those offenses don't translate at all to the NFL.
Right.
And he wasn't great this year either. If you're going to draft him in the first round, there's a rumor going around that like the Steelers love Malik Willis. I'm like, God damn it, I hope so. Like, draft him and play him right away because he is not ready. Like those offenses that he has been in, he is not ready to play. And Kenny Pickett and Dez are probably the most ready, but like neither of them I look at and are like, yeah, throw them in there and we can be successful. Like they need some time. They need to be in good situations. Like you want to get drafted high, but as a quarterback, would you rather go, 11 to Washington or go in the second round to Atlanta and be behind Matt Ryan for a year and have an offensive coordinator that is a really good play caller and can really, enhance your game? But I still think it's wide open. Like, I think it's going to be a soup du jour type of thing. And none of them,
somebody's going to fall in love with Dez. I'm convinced.
I look at this just objectively, not from a UC. Like, I'll talk about the UC guys, but I'm looking at this from like a big draft perspective, like draft Twitter guy or whatever. I wouldn't take any of them in the first round.
But that's not how this works.
Exactly. So you have your teams that are desperate, but I guess, but that's what the thing is like, okay, so you take one and like that's who you're trotting out as your Joe Burrow. Like, look what the Bengals did. They drafted Joe Burrow. Now, granted, obviously no one thinks any of these guys like,
right.
But what
using your first round pick on a quarterback is using your first round pick on a quarterback.
Exactly. And I still think Dez could be the first quarterback taken.
I don't think it's crazy. And I think, like, for me, this was the part that we were not sure about was the Senior Bowl week, the practices, like the game, like, would he be consistent with his arm and not hurt himself in this process? This was the time where if he was going to hurt himself, it would have happened here because he's going to run a fine 40. He's going to look great at the combine. He's going to look great at pro day, throwing to his guys.
Right.
He's going to be he's going to go through the interview process and ace it because that's his personality. That's who he is. So like this was probably the big, for me at least, and you might disagree, this was his biggest hurdle, was going down there and being picked apart for 4 or 5 days. And he came out of it with a lot of people going, hey, he might be the number one guy.
Yeah, I just think there's like, and it's kind of the draft this year as a whole. There is not, whether it's quarterback or just the front end of the draft, there is not like a slam dunk consensus number one pick right now.
Right. I mean, it's Hutchison, right?
I mean, maybe.
I don't want to go down too far down this road, but in a draft where there's no like lock, doesn't he seem like the most sure thing? Like effort and size and productivity. If
I'm Jacksonville, I'm taking Evan Neal. But that's still like okay, like we took a tackle. We have a quarterback we need to protect. We need to like Hutchinson is fine, but like he's not a Watt and he's not a Bosa. So like, is he really the number one or number two pick? Or is it just that there's a lot of good players, but there's no like, we know right now this dude in 2 years, he's an
all-pro,
Pro Bowl, whatever you want to say. Like he's an impact dude. Like he's a foundational piece for our franchise. Like top 5 picks are Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Herbert. Like these are foundational dudes that you're like, we cannot screw this up. This guy will be great. And I don't know if there's any of those guys that I could say in this draft, like where you are just positive, like, yep, we can't screw it up. So that leads it to just teams picking very niche players. And that's how you get Dez possibly being like the first quarterback off the board.
Yeah.
Because teams will just go, we think this guy's just a really solid, good football player, and he fits what we do. And we don't give a shit if every other team has X player with a 1C grade. He fits us at pick 13. I'm not using Des as an example, but I'm just saying like how I think it's gonna go. There's not that huge crop of what I would call like, blue chip difference maker guys. And
right.
So it's what we've talked about. Just takes one team to fall in love and, have an offensive coordinator or a head coach buy into the experience and the winning and the leadership and all the intangibles and says the fundamentals are there. Like, I mean, everybody talks about his mechanics are the best. His motion is repeatable. It's, he does everything you want him to do. It's not like he's got sloppy feet or he's dropping his elbow. Like, it's all there. So a coach might say, yeah, we can get him a couple percentage points better in accuracy. And we like all these other things enough that doesn't matter as much.
Right. What about everybody else?
Myjay, dude, is just like, it's funny when you watch these guys not play for UC anymore. And you totally understand why UC does what they do. But then I watch Myjay in a 4-man front and I just go like he's a 4-man down defensive end, and he, sucked it up for the team to beat all these spread tempo offenses. But like that dude, I mean, he's going to come in somewhere and come in as your situational pass rusher and do what he does. Guess snap counts, stand up, and just whip right tackles.
Yeah. You're not as worried after watching him through the week about handling guards and the lower body?
I mean, it's still a bit of a concern. Like when he went up against Darian Kirkland, he got stalemated quite a few times. But he's got a lot to learn too. I mean, he's been playing in a 3-down. He's going to probably go to a 4-down. He's got to work on his secondary moves. He can't just beat everybody with pure speed. He does do well translating speed to power. Like, he'll jolt you in the chest, but it's just a different game. Like, you're jolting a 6'6", 320-pound, 29-year-old
right
in the chest who will, you'll jolt him, he'll step back, but then he'll re-anchor. So when he re-anchors, what are you going to do? This isn't like hitting a 19 or 20-year-old from Tulsa or from South Florida. Like, it's just you're going to have to. That's why he's going to have to gain some more weight. Is he's just not good? Like, yeah, he'll knock him back, but they'll be like, all right, I took your initial punch, and now I've reset, and now what are you going to do? Because now my 36-inch arms are just keeping you away, and you don't have another move. You don't have a swim, or you don't have a spin, because he really never had to do it.
Right. His spin move's pretty good.
It is, but you just got to refine those things. It's just like any. I mean, these are young dudes. They're not coming in. They're not coming in with every tool in the toolbox. So, but I just look at the value of those positions. It is a deep defensive line draft, but I mean, he shot up with all of the biggest name guys there. And I'm like, I just like for me, I want to see the flash plays. Like I don't care if he didn't get sacks in the game and stuff like that. It's because they're going to go back and watch the reps and go, this dude won his rep, however much percent of the time and forced a sack. Maybe he didn't get the sack, but he forced a sack.
You can't win your rep unless you get the sack, Dave. That's your philosophy, right? You can't play well unless you get the result. That's not how it works.
Sure it is.
No.
Yeah.
No. We've had this conversation before. The play doesn't work unless you get the result.
Different sport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Different sport.
But
I think he's
second round probably.
Solid second round. Just depends on how these DNs come off the board.
Beavers. How much did it help him that they weren't allowed to blitz? That he actually had to show how good he was in coverage and kind of
coverage and sideline to sideline. Yeah, I mean, I think he didn't jump out to me, but I noticed him a couple times where he had good coverage on some plays. He did all again, linebacker in an all-star game, he did all his work in the drills when it's just one-on-one. So, I think it's weird. He's versatile, but he's not going to be for everybody. He's going to be very scheme specific. So it's hard to say right off the top where you would project that, because it just depends on how many teams are there that are looking for someone like him, and then do they need someone like him? I mean, I think he's a third round guy. I think the testing is important to back up what people think they see. If they see this 6 whatever 250, 260 pound guy out there running around, covering running backs, making plays this year. Now we want to see that athletic ability, in numbers, in short shuttle, 3-cone drill. What's your explosion? What's your broad jump? What's your vertical, stuff like that?
Which we know, those numbers are good for him.
Yeah. He just needs to verify it.
Right.
The tape has, the testing
has to match the drapes?
Yes, the testing has to match the tape. Because you get it both ways. You watch a guy, and you might love him on tape, and then he tests poorly, and you're like, well, I got to go back and watch this. What was I seeing? Because, I'll tweet it out because there's so many of those guys at the combine, the what's it called, the spark number or whatever.
Yeah.
You want to be in the green, whatever. I think it's 9.0 or higher, but you could love a guy and then he tests poorly, and so you need to go back and see, what that means, or vice versa. Guys test out of this world who maybe you didn't love their tape, so maybe you need to go back and go, okay, well, how is he being used? Was he being used almost not like in Amaje? Was he being used wrong? But was he being used for the betterment of his college team, winning games, when we're going to use him like this,
right?
And these numbers back up what we plan on doing. So it's not as much about the tape, because this player was being used how they needed to use him so that they could win football games.
It felt like Kobe had a big week.
Kobe had a big week. His game wasn't great.
The one double move got him. The pass interference was such bullshit.
I mean, it was pass interference. You got to turn around and locate the ball. That happens all the time.
The ball was underthrown by 30 yards.
It still happens. You can't just keep running into the receiver. I mean, it's a bad luck type play, but it's not like it was a bad call. But again,
it was
like it doesn't matter.
No.
His testing is going to be important. I think he had a good week. Obviously, like the players voted him as the best corner on his team. So
third, fourth round, you think with him?
I think so. Again, it's just corners are weird too. Corner, like, what do you play? Do you play a lot of press man? Do you play a lot of, do you play too deep? Like, what do you do and what are you looking for?
Yeah.
That's the thing. In the Twitter mentions, I always get like, oh, I hope the Bengals draft this guy and that guy. And I don't really respond because I don't want to come off as like I'm being negative. It's just very, very specific. Like, would I like some of these guys for the Bengals? Sure. But like, tell me who else is available. Like,
right.
If it's somebody else that we like, the Bengals need much more, then maybe it doesn't work out. But his testing is going to be important. You've got to back up the stuff on tape. The explosion. I want to. His important part will be his short area quickness numbers.
Yeah.
Because with the way that the NFL, most people that listen to this are either fans of or watch the Bengals because they're the local team. Like, you go 5 wide and you go quick game. Is he quick enough in that short area to break on the ball against a Jamar Chase type player?
Right.
So, again, 3-cone, short shuttle, his 10-yard split in the 40. I'm not as concerned about his long range running as I would be of his short yardage stuff.
I really wish Brian Cook. Well, Kobe probably third, fourth round.
Round? I think so. I feel like that. I feel like top one, right around the top 100.
His speech at the Thorpe Award was outstanding.
I have not gotten to watch that video yet.
It was really, really good. You could tell it like he didn't have a script. He wasn't reading. Just kind of went from the heart. And he did a really, really good job with that. And it gives you kind of a look at like why he was such a leader.
Oh, yeah. That's the other thing, too, is, you get into these third, fourth round. Kobe can play special teams.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a great leader. Beavers will play special teams. Cook will play special teams. Pierce will be
your gunner.
Pierce can walk in the door and be your fourth wide receiver and your gunner. And
you probably will wherever he goes.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And you can feel good about that. Like,
right.
That's the thing is all of these guys, unless you're a very specific player or drafted in the first round, like, there's only 53 guys on the roster. Like, you're going to have to play special teams.
Hell, Ford played a ton of special teams, and he kind of like demanded it that first year.
I mean, like, these guys will that will boost them up on draft boards. Like, can play special teams. Like, it's a vital part. Like, roster management is such a bigger deal in the NFL. You just don't have the bodies.
Right.
So every one of these guys, I mean, Sauce isn't going to play teams and Dez isn't going to play teams. Myjay is going to have to play teams. Like,
for sure.
Whether it's just kickoff return, kickoff coverage, stuff like that. Like, your fourth or fifth, like, your specialty rush end is not only playing those, 10, 15,
third down,
20
third down
snaps a game?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I wish Cook was there because I think Cook would have had a really big
I wish he was there so I could so he could have been on the field with Jalen Petrie to see who, because I think he's like one of the best safeties in the country from Baylor, and he had a real nice week, and I just would have liked to have seen those two guys together. It's kind of just like not a who was better or worse, but just, how they both did.
Pearson Ford, obviously Ford, we learned.
That's a wild story.
Uber to New Orleans, flight to Jacksonville, make it in time for the birth of your daughter.
Yeah,
that's a busy 24 hours.
Yeah, that was, and that was, obviously great great reason to not be there.
Yeah.
But both teams were not shy about running the ball. So he definitely would have gotten a
lot of touches and probably would have had one of those because it's an all-star game. He catches a seam and he's sprinting past everybody.
Yeah.
And Pierce, I thought he did enough in his first couple days, showing that he's actually got short area quickness and he's more than just, put him outside and run the 9.
Yeah. He did. He accomplished what you go down there to accomplish. Like I said, the game is the game. It's fun to watch, but it's very, you got NFL Network guys calling plays, talking to the offensive coordinators, while the game's going on. The game is not, the game is the fun part for the players and for the city of Mobile.
Right.
The stuff that goes on Monday through Thursday is the important stuff for the players and the teams.
Did you ever think you'd see a day where there's 8 Bearcats at the combine?
No. Why would I have ever thought that? Why would you ever think that?
It's pretty surreal.
Yeah. That's the thing that we've kind of talked about in the past of this is the final step of the whole recruiting, winning, now getting guys drafted. And it's great too because you have quarterback, running back, wide receiver, defensive end, linebacker, running back, safety, almost every position besides offensive line is accounted for. So every day of the combine, Bearcats will be doing something. It's not like you got one guy and he goes one day and he does his thing and then it's 3 or 4 more days of no Bearcat talk. Because anybody that watched the game, how many times did they consistently talk about the group as a whole? Maje would do something and they'd be talk about all the guys that were down there, or when they talked to Luke when he went down there. It's going to be the same thing at the combine. It's really a 3-month, smorgasbord of stuff for the recruiting department to clip and tweet and send to guys.
Are you going to go?
No, the combine is utterly boring as shit.
Oh, Dave, you can go meet some people and rub some elbows.
It's also in
build
prime.
Build your equity.
It's also at night now.
Oh yeah, screw that.
No, it's prime time for television. So no, I'm not working all day, then driving to Indy to watch guys run around in t-shirt and shorts, and then get back to Cincinnati at whatever time in the morning.
Right. All right. Well,
but no, that's the first week in March, and then visits will visit the pro days and the visits. That's what I'll be interested from a pro day standpoint. Who's here for Dez, and then where does he go on visits? Because quarterback is a little bit different, especially one that you think is going to go in the first couple of rounds. You're not just bringing this guy in for the hell of it. You get 30 visits. You're not using one on a quarterback that you're not serious, you don't think you would draft.
Right.
So a lot of the visits I know just from watching the Bengals, a lot of the visits are, used on guys kind of towards maybe the middle to the back end of the draft, so that to get to know, and like if this guy doesn't get drafted, then we've already got a good evaluation on him and have a relationship. You don't just bring in like your top 30 guys on your board.
Yeah, you're a little more strategic about it.
So that'll be interesting to see. I'm hoping they UC, Liberty, and Ole Miss figure something out to not have their pro days on the same day.
I mean, the good news for Cincinnati is because they have more players, you're going to draw more people, hypothetically.
But there's still going to be – the other thing, too, is it'll make teams show their cards a little bit.
Yeah.
Like if you're the Steelers and Mike Tomlin and the offensive coordinator are at Liberty, I mean, it's like, okay. But we've also seen where these quarterbacks now are doing like 2 pro days. So the last couple of years, you've had quarterbacks doing 2 pro days.
Right.
So, but I just think it kind of stinks for the players. Like, it's impossible with so many schools to not have multiple pro days, on the same day. But just for those quarterbacks, you kind of wish that you didn't have 3 guys that are possible first rounders all going on the same day.
Right, because they can all have scouts there, but you're only going to have the executives or the main decision makers at one.
Right. Like, yeah, whoever the Steelers hire as their new GM, he's going to one of those.
Louis Riddick is the rumor.
I saw you interview. They also interviewed a guy for the Colts. So
I don't have a ton else on football. Do you? We've met the new coaches.
No, they're still sending out a lot of offers to 4 stars.
Sending out a lot of offers to 6'7", 315-pound offensive linemen.
Yeah.
He likes them big in the lower body, as Gino would say.
Yeah, and you see who else is offering these guys.
Yeah. Well, if you're recruiting 4 stars.
Yeah. Well,
that's who you're going to be dealing with.
Butcher his last name, but the offensive lineman from Lakota East,
Svieraveld, or
put out a top 6 today that consisted.
That's quite a list.
Yeah, it consisted of Iowa, Notre Dame, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, and UC. Just your usual.
That's the group UC is usually battling with for kids.
Usual, up and comers of the college football world. And then there's a rumor that Malik
Hartford
will be putting out some list with some number of potential schools that could obviously change in 1 week tomorrow.
Yeah. He doesn't seem like he's in the shopping phase.
No, I just say that jokingly. I'm always
know.
Here's my top 6. Here's my top 6, but my recruitment's still open. Hit me up. It's like, Well, then why are you putting in the top 6 if you're like basically like catcalling other schools? Like,
here's the 6 that I'm focused on right now. But if you're hotter than those 6, like, give me a call. My line's open. So
yeah,
they're not going to let you into LA with that cough and runny nose.
It's all right. I've been practicing holding my breath.
They're going to stop you at the.
Haven't you seen this week? Like, everybody's getting rid of their mask mandates. Apparently, it's all over.
It's all yeah. That no comment. I won't get into it. I think that covers it for football for today. Timestamp, y'all.
We're kind of in that between spring practice.
Oh, I did potentially hear a date for the start of spring practice. And it is soon.
Didn't they have a calendar out?
Do they have the calendar out?
Yeah, because they've sent out the the tweet where some of the guys are retweeting the dates of the practices where they have been invited to go watch or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know
March 5th.
Yeah.
That's soon. Like, that is right around the corner.
Yeah.
So excited for that. Basketball back on the board with a win last night.
Oof.
Wasn't
there were times, I have to admit, I was like, I can't watch this right now.
Yeah,
I was trying to like put the kid to bed and watch at the same time, and I'm like, yeah, this is just ugly. I don't need to watch right now. I'll turn it back on in like 10 minutes.
The turnovers were bad, like we talked about last night on the.
I have a theory on this, by the way.
Well, it was pretty clear
but I have a theory.
They were trying to get out. They were trying to get out and run as like a mandate of like, look, we cannot play half court offense,
right?
So we have to run, and they threw some passes last night that were comically bad, like in their attempt to get out and run. Like, what are you thinking throwing that pass?
Yeah. So I have a South Florida theory.
Okay.
Whenever you play at South Florida, does it seem like that they're so bad that they do things that like your brain just doesn't think they'll do?
Yeah, like, I don't hate that.
And that it just automatically like screws you up. Like when you play like a really bad team and you're at a high level and you're like, oh, I know what they're going to do. This guy's going to go here, and then he's going to do this, and they're going to pass the ball here. So you kind of like, you're thinking 3 steps ahead, but they're so fucking terrible that they do things that like nobody else will do. And they have players that stink way worse than anybody else, that it kind of like screws up how you play because they're so bad
that, yeah, I don't think that's a terrible.
Like I watched one dude in the second half, like kind of toward second half of the second half, right wing, like caught the ball by the 3-point line, was guarded, pump fake, like took a dribble in, still guarded, like did a move, and I'm going, is he going to shoot this? Because there is zero chance this is going to go in. And he shot it. I was like, what? I mean, they're the worst. Did I see right? They're the worst 3-point shooting team in the country.
In America, yeah, and it's not particularly close.
Did they make any last night?
One.
Okay.
They made one, which was the same number they made. They beat Temple over the weekend, and the only 3 they made was the shot that won the game. That was the only 3 that they made the entire. So in their past 2 games, they have a combined 2 made 3-pointers. I'll give them credit for this. They don't shoot them. They don't shoot them. Like they know.
They know, yeah.
We are a terrible 3-point shooting team.
Like the second half when UC went on a little run and then got up to like double digits and they started jacking a couple, you're like, they're not going in.
No, not even close. Not even close.
Could
be worse. Could be Maryland tonight.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Xavier.
No comment.
Why? Why can't you have a comment?
No comment. How many? They're at the under 4, the final media stop of the game. How many points do you think Iowa has?
And they're playing Maryland?
Yeah.
97.
At Maryland. 103.
Holy cow, that's a lot of points.
and they're just at the under 4. They're just at the final media stop. That's not.
What? This is totally off topic, but you brought up Iowa and Maryland. What happened to Maryland?
I don't know.
Like they won a national championship when I was in college.
Boy, that might be the wrongest I've ever been. I thought Turgeon was going to be really good there.
Is it really just going to the Big Ten has just totally like taken them out of their recruiting base? And
I don't know how that's true though.
You remember just as good as I do, like Duke, Maryland, like JJ Redick.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like the game of the ACC season, and they're just terrible, and they have been. Like it's not even that they're terrible. They're like inconsequential. They're just there. They're like
right.
Yeah,
They don't matter at all.
The 8th or 9th best team in the Big Ten.
They've got to get this hire right. I'll tell you that.
It's just weird. I mean, you see some of these teams like change. It feels too like a lot of the whether it's a Syracuse and a Pitt going from the Big East to the ACC or this Maryland leaving the ACC and going to the like these programs. I mean, and granted, this stuff is all cyclical. These are the programs of like our upbringing that were major programs. But I mean, I don't know. It just seems so weird that you would think that just changing a conference would totally basically torpedo
end a program, basically.
Right. Like Syracuse is, I mean, what's Syracuse anymore?
Nothing.
Like Pitt is awful.
Yeah.
Hiring Kevin Stallings and then following that up with Jeff Capel, that'll probably do it to you.
Well, they hope that Capel brought some of the recruiting magic he had from Duke, but it turns out recruiting to Duke a little easier than recruiting to Pitt for some reason.
You mean recruiting to Coach K?
Yeah. For some reason, I can't quite figure out what the difference is there. But yeah, Maryland's not good.
I mean, I'm not used to, the Bengals playing in February, so my season.
You're usually in basketball mode by now.
well into basketball mode by now. But you just see some of these, what I would think are like, the blue blood perennial powers that they've just not that anymore.
It's, that's the interesting part is like the main ones always stay and the fringe ones always cycle. And now it's like,
the main ones are now.
Now it's still Duke, Kentucky.
Yeah, but I mean like
Kansas.
Right. But now you have Gonzaga and Baylor.
Yeah. They have definitely cycled into that. Well, they're in the places that used to be occupied by Syracuse and Pitt and Maryland. Yeah. And
I was bummed Auburn lost. I was hoping to see the number 1 team in the country next weekend or in 2 weeks.
No, you get did they stay at 2?
I don't know.
I think they stayed at 2. I don't know. I know Gonzaga, the Zags.
Did you see the end of that game, by the way?
On and off because I was
like the very end.
No,
in overtime.
When Musk took his shirt off and went up into the crowd with his arm in a sling.
When dude dunked as crazy 2-handed dunk as the game ends with his legs swinging up, instantly the lights go into like strobe light and the fans rush the crowd. It's like there's gonna be a fight. I could not believe Auburn dudes just didn't start swinging.
Yeah.
Because you got like the rub it in, like crazy dunk.
Yeah.
Never seen him just like cut the lights instantly to like a club scene. And the fans were on the court like within a nanosecond.
Iowa's still punching wide open dunks up to 107, 2 minutes left. This is exciting.
How many does Maryland have?
83.
Oh, 83.
Yeah. They've got 85 and they're losing by 22.
NBA game broke out.
No shit. Back to the Bearcats, I guess. I did see some things I liked. I liked in the second half that they slowed down to Julius and Cincinnati still found some offense. Because in the first half, it was either Dave or it was you might as well just hand the ball back to South Florida and go play defense. It was dreadful watching the rest of that offense try to score in the first half.
What are they, from your vantage point, in those situations, what are they trying to do that they're just not skilled enough, good enough? What is the effort that's just not working?
They're doing a lot of what they want in terms of, I think they do a really good job high ball screen offense. One, because I think Abdul Adu sets really good high ball screens. Like, he's as good of a like out top high ball screen type screener than they've had in quite some time. The problem, I think, is they don't, when the ball handler, when it's not DeJulius, gets downhill, they don't really have anything like consistent, reliable to like, this is what we're going, this is what's going to happen when we get downhill. Like with Saunders at the C's part and he gets clean to the rim, like he's good. But if he gets to the left side and there's guys, a 6'10" guy there waiting on him.
Right, like how often do you just get a clean straight line drive to the rim?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not even necessarily a straight line drive, but like when the body's clear. Like we've seen a couple of those where he's working through the lane and then he cuts like against the grain and the body's clear.
Yeah.
And he's laying it up is what I'm talking about, more than just like, blowing by a defender and nobody being on the weak side. Cause that's not something in college basketball that you see happen.
Right.
I think they're getting a lot of the 3-point shots that they like, that they want. I think it is like it hurts as much as the game has changed. You still need to be able to throw the ball to a 6'10" guy within 10 to 12 feet and have him be able to get a bucket. Like maybe it's not getting him the ball at 3 feet like it used to be, right? But you need to be able to get the ball free throw line extended down to a big guy and have that big guy be able to do some work so that it puts stress on the defense.
That's really the biggest problem, right? Is the offense, for the most part, is playing with one arm tied behind their back.
Yeah, they're very one-dimensional on
because
on
you don't have how much easier is it to play defense when the scouting report says this guy either won't shoot or can't shoot?
Right, and what you also they struggle with this is a guard gets downhill and drops it off, and the big doesn't have the the strength or the bounce or whatever you want to call it to make the catch and get the ball in the basket before the defense reacts. Because it's like the defense reacts to the guard leaves a dump off pass. The big has to catch and gather, and by the time they catch and gather, somebody's right there at the rim taking it from an 80% shot to a 30% shot. Like they just don't, as currently constructed, as currently developed. So I think that is an important part of this too. Have that UC had it with Yancey. They had it with Gary. They had it with Kyle. They had it with Trey. They had it with Justin Jackson. Get a bucket. Like, here's the ball. Go make something happen for us.
Or even, here's the ball. The defense at least focuses on you. And then somebody else is maybe open because it's the third or fourth pass. Where now, if the guy gets it on the third or fourth pass, they're not even paying attention to him. They're just assuming they're going to pass it because they're like, well, we know he's not offensively, skilled enough to do anything. So we're already playing that next pass.
Yeah. And they're not overly great passers either.
That was evident last night, apparently.
Well, I'm talking about the bigs.
I thought you just meant as a team. Yes.
No, I mean the big getting the ball on the block and drawing the defense and then kicking it opposite or
we don't see any
down the lane.
We don't see any block to block passes, any high post to low post, big to big passes. We don't see any of that stuff.
Right. So that just it does so much to limit the offense, to limit, the scouting
at what
report.
point does whoever guarding DeJulius just play off to keep him from getting?
Well, you can't, because he has been so ridiculously good at that step back.
Well, I'm saying, like, play off of him so he can't even get into that.
But he'll still get into it and just take the step back with you playing off.
I feel like that's what gets him going more than just like open shots.
Yeah, he needs the ball in his hand. Like, he's the one guy that really needs the ball in his hand to get things going. Now, I thought he's done a good job of late. They've had to do a little bit more as teams have shifted their coverage. Like, they've done a lot more running them off screens. And
I don't think he's been forcing stuff. Like,
right.
Because you get to that line where you realize, like, my team needs me to score, but then do you cross the line to feeling the pressure to do that, so you're taking bad shots, or you're...
Yeah, I haven't seen that at all, really, from him.
Or you're forcing the action, picking up offensive fouls, stuff like that. And I don't think that's the case.
Has he maybe taken one or two here or there where I was like,
Yeah, but I mean, like...
And then you're also like, they have 24 points and he scored 18 of them.
Well, yeah. So he takes maybe an ill-advised shot. Who else would you rather take the shot?
Right.
I mean...
Precisely.
Right now, I mean, there's... I'm not going to... I have a hard time calling specific players out. They're college kids. They bust their ass. But, like...
It's just a limited team offensively.
Well,
we knew that coming into the season.
Right. And there's some dudes that, like, they're not going to be around.
We'll see. I don't have an answer to that.
I know you don't have an answer to that. I can have an answer to that.
You have an opinion.
I have an opinion, right. An opinion.
My problem is when I say something, people take it as an answer.
No. I mean, it's not hard to figure it out. But, we'll leave it at that.
I think it's more difficult than people think, because I don't know that it's just going to be what people expect, because knowing Wes, the way that Wes does things, I don't think there's going to be any conversations that are head back to your room, pack your shit, it's time to go. No. I think there will be very hard conversations about, this is probably where you're going to be going forward. And if that's okay with you, that's okay with you, and that's your role, and you're going to buy into it, great. But if you're looking for more, like, I can't promise that's going to be here. Like, I think it's going to be more like that, as opposed to everybody thinks it's going to be just this, like...
Right, mass exodus of, like...
You're cut. You're out. You're not good enough. You suck. Get out of my office.
This isn't Xavier with Chris Mack, guys.
Right. It's going to be more. This is, after a full year of getting a look, this is what we think. This is where you fit. If you're down with that, you're down with that. If you're not down with that and you think you fit better somewhere else, then, so be it.
We maybe suggest you not be down with that.
Right. So we'll see. I don't think it's
No, but
everybody's got an opinion on it. I get it.
But I mean, like, just being objective, like, the roster is not in a position to take the jump that I think the fan base would hope, as currently constructed, if everyone that can return next year returned.
I mean, we don't know that. We've seen guys from year over year make big jumps. Like, and this will really be the first full off season they get with this staff and with Mike Grail. So I'm not ruling out that there's going to be guys that look vastly different next year. But I'm also not, like, I'm also weary of the belief that the transfer portal just instantly fixes everything.
No, I don't think that. Yeah, I'm not of that belief.
There's a lot of people that just believe, like, these people have to go and we're going to go get 2 all-league guys in the transfer portal, and that's going to solve everything.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just go get a couple, like, you know, we brought in 2 upperclassmen bigs this year, and next year we're going to replace them with 2 upperclassmen bigs that, you know, average 14 and 8 a game.
Right. Those were, like, especially Abdul was one of the highest, most sought-after bigs in the transfer market. And he's helped this team immensely. But he's not a scorer. So there are holes. And in the transfer portal, you're very rarely getting a guy that the guys that don't have holes either go to the draft or they stay where they're at. Like, I think that's the be weary part. Now, you know, maybe you dip down a level and you find a guy that was like a 20-6 to 20-7 guy in the Missouri Valley, and you hope that works. But, like, you know, you saw Jason Carter go from 20 points a game in the MAC to Xavier and was just a guy. So there's no guaranteed answer that, like, okay, we're running these 3 guys off because I think we need 3 guys, and I think these 3 guys are dead weight. So these 3 guys have to go, and we're bringing in 3 different guys
who are all going to be better.
Yeah.
Significantly
better. And then they have to beat out the guys at the top of the roster. So then what happens to the guys at the top of the roster? What's their emotional, mental state like? What does it do to the locker room when you're, you know, we think you're good, but we brought in this dude to replace you? It's a delicate balance, man. Like, everybody just thinks it's like, you know, off season in NCAA 2008. And that's not always how it works.
No.
Do I think there will be a couple exits? Do I think there will be a couple transfer additions? Yeah, as I said on the board today, I've said for months, I think they're gonna be looking. They'll figure out a way. They know they need to add a big. They would, you know, I would guess, like to add a little more scoring punch than they've had this year. But they're not. What has made them so good this year? Having a couple bigs at the rim that just completely slow down the opponent's offense, you know, going inside. So I think, yeah, are you looking for a guy that can score? Yeah, you're also looking, you're not going to add a guy that adds, you know, that erases the rim protection. You're losing the 2 best shot blockers in college basketball in terms of number of block shots. Are you going to replace that with a guy that doesn't protect the rim at all? Because I don't think Odie is going to be your answer at shot blocker.
Right.
Is Vic?
No.
And he's shown some promise there, but is he getting, you know, 50 blocks next year? You would hope so, but counting on that might be
fool's errand.
A very risky proposition, I guess. You know, it's like going all in when you have 6 outs on the river.
There's not much that you could feel comfortable really like staking a claim to moving forward. You know, like you hope and you think, but like there's very little absolute.
Well, and you still have the great unknown. Does this team or does this team not have David DeJulius next year?
Right, that's what I mean. Like there's virtually no absolutes.
Because if it has DeJulius, now you've got your guy, right? You've established him, I think, at this point as somebody you can throw the ball to.
Yeah, I mean, if he comes back, he's a first team all-league type player.
Right. There's a good chance he'll end up first team all-league this year.
And you can,
it's not second team.
You can build around that.
Right.
But
so then what you're looking for in the portal is completely different.
Sure.
If you're replacing Dave, what you're looking for in the portal is urgent. And I mean, I think still, this is the other thing people don't talk about. I think a large majority of the time, transfers are under the same timetable that we used to see a lot of the JUCO guys, right?
Well, that's the thing is like transfers have become more prevalent, but how many of them come in and either give you right from the start, give you what you expect or even exceed your expectations?
Right.
Like very, very few, even at the highest levels. Like, you know,
I mean, there's a couple places, obviously.
In your mind, you look at, you know, if a guy is transferring up, you're obviously thinking, well, he's not going to replicate that. But how many times do guys not even come close to what is a reasonable expectation?
Yeah. Let me see something.
So it's
Kellen Grady, Kentucky.
Yeah, was he the Davidson kid?
The Davidson kid would be, by all accounts, wildly successful in his transfer up.
Yeah, like he was like everybody like top 5 transfer guy in the portal. Kentucky got him, like difference maker right away.
He was averaging 17 points a game at Davidson. He's averaging 12 points a game at Kentucky. And he's shooting 44% from 3. Now, this is his 5th season. So his numbers have gone up in terms of percentages because clearly, you know, you get better options around you, you get better shots. But he has strictly for Kentucky basically become like a catch and shoot guy.
Yeah, like a super sub come in and, you know, if you make some shots, we'll keep you in. If you're missing, you're done.
You know, he averaged 4.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists at Davidson last year. 2 rebounds, 1 assist at Kentucky this year. Because he just doesn't have the ball in his hand.
He's probably getting half the minutes, right?
Yeah. Well, no, he's averaging 32 minutes a game.
Oh, wow.
He's on the floor a lot. But his usage rate is just like, you know, he doesn't have the ball in his hands the whole game.
No, because Oscar Tshiebwe is touching the ball all the time.
Yeah, but that's a wildly successful transfer.
Yeah.
It's not the norm.
No.
So, you know, it's just not, I know it's so easy to be like, this is
the easiest path forward. This is going to solve all our problems.
It's fun and new. It's like, oh, new guys. Like, oh, who are they going to get in the transfer portal? Like, who did they make contact with? That's always my favorite. Like, so-and-so enters the transfer portal and has already heard from 35 schools. Like, okay, good luck. Like,
right.
The 100 and whatever character tweet is just this guy's name and 50, you know, school initials.
Right.
Like, all right, whatever. Like, why would I even like pay attention to that? Like, let me know if he comes and visits.
Yeah, that's usually the mark of delineation is are they visiting? Are they like
anybody can text a player and go, "Hey, we'd like you to come play for our team."
Right.
Did he respond to that text?
Who do you have some actual traction with?
That's what someone should start doing. Like Borzello or Goodman or someone is like, so and so enters the transfer portal and is contacted by team. He responded to team.
He's had more than 3 texts with these 2 teams.
Yeah.
Everybody else got a thanks, coach.
Just a no call, no show. Just
there's a lot of those.
Hey, this is Coach so and so from sorry, Coach.
There's a lot of those. Tulsa Saturday. Thank God this isn't a Sunday game.
Where's this one?
It's at Tulsa.
Okay.
They played them here already and thumped them. So this one's at Tulsa. Hopefully the turnovers are down, because I do think that was a good sign that the offense was up. And say what you will about South Florida, they are a disaster offensively. They're actually a decent defensive team. And Cincinnati was able to have some success outside of they had 18 turnovers in
this point,
30
though,
minutes.
You kind of, knowing what the offense is in the half court, do you kind of just basically say, F it, we got to go tempo, and if that means we turn it over a couple more times, we have to try to live with that?
Well, yeah, but it can't be 19.
No, but I mean, like, no, it can't be. And it can't just, like, I'm not forgiving, like, just dumb, terrible passes, but, like,
there was like 7
passes
I saw South Florida game that were
them.
like, I wouldn't have made that pass.
Like passes you don't even make in like Devereaux's.
Yeah, like come on, like let's stop being silly here.
No, but I mean, like, you kind of just have to grit and take it, Like,
well, yeah, they have to play tempo. They cannot play slow. What are you watching back there? You got the Olympics on or something?
Absolutely not. NFL honors.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm boycotting the Olympics.
Okay. I only get we only get like a small corner of your TV, and I see a woman in a dress right now.
Yeah.
So I was.
And JJ Watt.
Okay.
Apparently they're giving that an award.
Okay. They have to win at like you can't.
Oh yeah.
Tulsa and South Florida are the 2 worst teams in the league. You have to take that 2-game road trip. Now the thing I don't love, we've talked about this before, I don't like staying on the road because I think it's trouble for the second game.
Oh, do they go straight from Florida to Oklahoma?
I think they're going tomorrow to Oklahoma. They spent an extra day in Florida today.
Oh, okay.
Usually you'll go straight to the
next place and have the
next place
there.
But that place that they were in was Tampa, and the place that they were going to was Oklahoma. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Where would you rather be, Tampa or Tulsa?
And I'm guessing they probably took a day off today and let them kind of unwind, would be my guess. Not unwind, but just mandatory. You have to take 1 day off. My guess is this was their day off this week.
Right, because they'll travel tomorrow and have
practice,
a walkthrough practice. And then
I'm sure they would have practiced today in Florida, because today would have been the first day of prep. They'll probably get Sunday off, probably get them the Super Bowl off. Obviously with Tulsa, as you see on the graphic, the biggest problem is Jeriah Horn. We've seen it all year. If a team has a multifaceted inside-out forward, they are a big problem for the Bearcats.
Tulsa's Ben Bryant.
Yeah. He left. But he transferred up, right? He went to Oklahoma, didn't he? Or somewhere?
Colorado,
that's where it was. And then came. Wow, is that really transferring? I just mean
the leaving and coming back thing.
Yeah. Clearly their best player.
Oh yeah. Frank Hayes still has a job. That's fun.
He always he'll have a season like, I guess, but they were bad last year too, right?
Yeah.
Because he'll have a season like this, and then he would be finishing like second. Shocking, like they'd get the easy schedule, and they'd only play like 4 of the really good teams once, and then they'd finish second or third in the conference. He'd hang on to his job.
Well, Tulsa fans have to just be so frustrated that they're like the smallest, like Division I school like this, because they can't fire him or Philip Montgomery. They can't really afford to, and they just keep getting stuck with these guys that are like not terrible but not good either.
Average.
Yeah.
Although I guess you could say Montgomery's done pretty damn well, all things considered.
Well, he has the year they went to the conference championship, the COVID year, but they have these massive swings. I mean, they won like one game the year before in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, they're the epitome of like what you're supposed to be if you're in the American, right? Where you bottom out, you get young, you get everybody experience, and then in 2 years, you're all juniors and seniors. And
yeah, but you're not supposed to be able to be around to do that 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like
yeah, it's gotta suck being
you get one shot at that, and then you either go up to a bigger job where you get fired. You don't get to like do that twice.
And then, so I guess we'll be Wednesday of next week because they've got Wichita State at home on Thursday.
Oh,
so
great.
we'll be
getting another Twitter argument with some loser Wichita State fan.
So you've got a 3-game homestand after Tulsa. Tuesday, Memphis. Thursday, Wichita. Sunday, Temple.
That kind of scares me.
You're at home.
Yeah, the part that scares me is you could expel a lot of energy in those first 2 and then come out in the third one in a game that you should win. And
but against a Temple team that beat them in Philly. So
but, I mean, the team's just too sporadic, though. Like,
yeah. I agree.
I would rather have like another good team.
Yeah. Temple's been weird. They're another they play good defense, but their offense is dreadful. So they can drag you down into a rock fight.
Right.
They can cause you problems. You got anything else Bearcats wise you want to talk about, Dave?
I don't think so.
I don't really do either. I don't think. You want to go over the notes from Coffee with Cunningham this morning?
Sure. Did he say anything interesting?
I don't really think so, but let's see. Oh, he did have something. You see, at 142 individuals that participated in NIL, 9 hired agents and made some national money. I mentioned the OS Skyline. But here's the interesting. Now it's moving to these donor collectives hidden by LLC, and they're getting paid to do quote-unquote community service. Can't be about donors paying players and being general managers. We're going to make sure we stick to our values and donors don't take control of our team and who is recruited. We want to grow NIL and how we grow that nationally, but we don't want to disrupt those rooms and those team dynamics. I mean, that's word for word from Luke, right?
Maybe. I'm not sure I agree. I mean, it's a nice thought in principle. If everyone participating had any principles.
Yeah. I also think the other problem is they don't have the donors that are at that level. So you can say that, and you're not upsetting anyone.
It's not like I'm coming over going, hey guys, I got like $2 million and I just need the boys to come over and pretend to do something. And they're like, nope, we're not going to take your money.
Right. Here's $2 million. We want the team to come talk to these cancer patients. And we'll spread the $2 million around everybody that comes and talks to the cancer patients. No. But I think it's easy to say that because you don't have
of course.
Nippert expansion. I love this line. Let's concentrate on selling out Nippert for a few years first. Might have a wait list soon, which would be great. And what everybody doesn't listen to, but they need to add premium seating to help balance the project cost if they're ever going to expand.
Yeah, we're not adding more upper deck bleacher seats, people.
Right.
Like that's like what, a couple $100 season ticket?
Yeah,
No.
per person, per year.
No.
It's not how it's going to happen. However they do it, count on a significant portion of whatever would happen being luxury seating, more luxury seating.
Yes.
All right, let's get to Dave and the Super Bowl before we get out of here. I want to get you, like, you need to get some sleep. What time's the flight leave?
Noon.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No.
Leaves at noon, gets to LA at what, 2?
We go to Atlanta.
Oh.
Get there at like 5:30.
That's not too bad. Where are you dining out there? You got any
Let's see.
any must-haves, any go-tos?
Steak place Friday night. Got a Bengals tailgate Saturday. Possible dinner Saturday night Italian. Late night.
Is there good Italian in LA?
I don't know. There's so much. I just do what I know my dad will want, and he will want.
Okay.
He will want steak place. He will want Italian.
All right, makes sense.
But then we're doing some things that David wants, so it'll be very funny to see Dad's reaction when we get to Sir at 10:30 at night and have a reservation there with the Vanderpumps.
You're hanging out with the Vanderpumps on
Saturday? I
Saturday?
don't know. That's their place.
Oh, okay.
So it's very Hollywood. So I'm very excited to see his reaction.
Who are you going there with?
Oh, just me and him.
Just to take in the sights?
Yeah, and
you're not going to take him. You're not going to take him to one of the fine establishments by the airport.
I'm not familiar with those.
It's not hard to figure out.
Yes. My cousin and his husband that live out there are going out to dinner with us Friday night and then going to Sir on Saturday. I'm trying to get him to get us into a Super Bowl party.
Which one?
I don't know. Whichever one Whichever one I can get in. I mean, my cousin's husband's a movie star. I mean, he's got to be able to get us in something.
Like a movie star? Like he's the first name on the
No.
Okay.
I mean,
he's in movies.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
In like Westworld, some other movies. Just shot a TV show that'll be on ABC coming up.
I used to have a couple connections in that world that lived out there, but they don't live out there anymore. So I can't help you there.
I'm trying to see if can we get in with like Snoop and Dre? let my dad chop it up with them.
Is your dad familiar with the wacky tobacco? I mean, if you're gonna hang out with Snoop and Dre.
No, I will not incriminate my father on a public platform. I cannot confirm nor deny any of that.
I joked with Mo yesterday when I was had him on because I had Mo as a guest on
his own show.
I hosted his show and had him as a guest. And he was like, I'm going to a cigar party tonight. I'm like, make sure there's tobacco in the cigars, Mo. And he's like, what would be wrong if there wasn't? And I was like, well, nothing.
But they have a lot of know. They do have a lot of stores out there.
You just want to know. Like, you want to make sure you know what's in your cigar.
Yeah, they have quite a few stores, if you know what I mean.
It's legal out there. So we can talk. Like, they have dispensaries. You can buy whatever the hell you want right there.
And I think we're going to like Korean barbecue on Monday.
Korean barbecue?
Yeah.
My one of my favorite spots out there was a Mongolian barbecue place that was right by our house in Hermosa Beach. It was awesome. We used to go there for like 5 hours. We'd go there at lunch and stay for lunch and dinner.
It's a long time.
We would walk out of that. Well, I mean, at the time, you got to remember, I'm like 23. Like I was making okay money, but in LA, you're still poor. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you're making enough to get by, but it ain't like you got a ton of money. And you're usually spending that at that age, living on the beach, at partying and doing stupid shit.
For sure.
So we would go and like just every like 45 minutes, we'd get a plate of Mongolian barbecue and sit there and eat it. And by the time we would leave, we would just be like, I'm going to get sick. But it was so good.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting what we try to do before the game, since they don't allow tailgating and like the perimeter of the stadium is all, it's kind of like its own. It's kind of like Dallas, where you kind of went in to the stadium property without, you were in the game but not in the stadium.
Right.
So it's like that. I'm interested to see the stadium though. I mean, $5 billion.
Sounds like an awesome place.
It better be nice.
Sounds like an awesome place.
So we'll see. Pretty wild year going to Jerry World and SoFi within just over a month of each other.
To watch the Bearcats play in the college football playoffs and the Bengals play for the fucking Super Bowl.
I've had a
2021,
2022. It's going to be tough to beat that football year for me.
Just how you had it all penciled out in August.
Yeah, I mean, when I said I'm going to go to this many games and see pretty much all wins, and both my teams are going to be basically the talk of their sport.
Yeah, you nailed that. How's it going to play out? Give us Dave's keys to the game.
Oh, here I'll go real. This is real insider info right here. The Bengals offensive line needs to play good because the Rams have a really good defensive line. I'm not sure if any of our listeners have heard that yet.
This is why I pay you the big bucks.
I mean, for God's sakes, like, you could literally have my son give those analysis points, like,
right.
I mean, it's at the point now where it's like just laughable, when, to me at least, when that's like being discussed. Yeah, we know the offensive line not great. Aaron Donald, real great.
Von Miller, also good.
Yeah, guess what? It hasn't mattered yet. Will it matter Sunday? Maybe. I don't know.
Now, there has been some talk this week in the more detailed evaluation breakdowns of the game that aren't just talking, the easiest talking points you can find. Rams aren't great at linebacker.
No, they're not.
They do not cover well over the middle. Tyler Boyd and Jamar Chase finding them on some quick hitter stuff over the middle to hopefully slow down that pass rush. Like, there's going to be some space there for Joey B to make some plays.
Well, it moves to safety too. I mean, Eric Weddle was working out at a Planet Fitness 2 weeks ago, and now he's going to play in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but he's pretty good.
He is, but I mean, the Bengals torched him when he was with the Ravens 3-4 years ago. So, I mean, how much can you really expect at that point? And they are a little weak up the middle, just like the Bengals are. Their center guard is not the best. I mean, if we're going on a collection of talent, the Rams should win. But
sure, but so should the Chiefs,
right?
And the Titans. The Bengals are more talented than the Raiders, but I mean, they've kind of been on a little run of this.
I guess my thing at this point is like, I mean, maybe I'm just a fool, but like, I'm not betting against Burrow.
Which probably smart.
The Rams have better players. They've played better this year. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, but you're all in. So you're not ever going to be in a situation here where you don't take the Bengals.
Oh no, sure I would. I mean, I didn't take UC to beat Alabama. People got mad at me because I said they were going to get beat pretty bad.
Yeah, but that's Alabama. There's no Alabama in the NFL. Who in the NFL, if they were in the Super Bowl right now, would you pick against the Bengals?
Probably the Packers. Because
Really?
I would be like, Aaron Rodgers is that dude. How am I going to pick against him? If they were
in the playoffs, he's not that dude.
Well, but I mean, you're saying if they were there, then he
Yeah.
would have been. Then he would have won 2 more playoff games.
I guess. Okay, so there's one team in the NFL.
Well, no, well in the NFC is not very good. Like
I guess, but then again, you would have picked UC over Michigan. You probably would have picked Georgia. Right.
Probably, but that's not like I don't think that's crazy talk.
Yeah, but you also would have probably at that point said, look, I think this is going to be another really good game between these two.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Dave's got the Bengals. How many? You got any props? Any bets you're looking at?
No, I have not had I mean, it's not something I really do, and I haven't even looked. I will say, for those that do, last week, Sam Hubbard was on the PFT podcast. Pardon my take. And told them that they only use orange Gatorade.
There you go.
So there's your prop bet. Bengals win Super Bowl. What color Gatorade gets poured on Zach Taylor?
That's a good one. Joe Burrow over under 11 rushing yards. Remember in the NFL, sacks don't count against your rushing yards. That's just college.
Correct. I would say over.
Yeah. I would say you're right. Probably, you're just going to have that point in the second half where he starts saying, I got to start making something happen. We saw it against KC. He had an 8 and a 9 yard third down conversion?
8 and 11.
Well, he gained 11, but it was 3rd and 9, I think, and he gained 11, whatever.
Yeah.
So, national anthem.
I don't even know who's singing it.
I don't either. I heard the name today, and I don't remember. That was Josh Katzowitz's thing, right? He used to always time the national anthem.
I have no idea.
And post it at like when it was done at every game he ever covered. He had
what? Really?
He had a journal of every national anthem he ever covered and how long it was.
That sounds like a fun guy to hang out with.
Josh actually was a good dude. I guess it was just something weird he picked up on. Yes, Aaron. Hi, Aaron.
I just looked it up. Mickey Guyton,
No,
a country artist, is singing the national anthem at Super Bowl 56.
Who's singing God Bless America?
Well, I didn't look that up.
I don't know who Mickey Guyton is.
I've never heard of Mickey Guyton.
Is that a guy or a girl?
I mean, I don't know the answer to that either.
It's a girl. You know who's singing "It Ain't No Fun If the Homies Can't Have None"? Snoop Dogg at halftime.
That's the real question. So I heard this too, that they're doing rehearsals.
Yeah.
And they have speakers on the outside of the stadium facing out, blasting like AC/DC and Taylor Swift, so you can't hear what's going on in the rehearsal.
That's great.
How are they going to do that? Like a 15-minute show with
Same way they
people.
always do. Well, they only do like 90 seconds of each song.
Yeah,
like,
but they don't.
Not like,
if you remember,
have this many like artists at the same time.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
Aerosmith had NSYNC, and they had Britney Spears, and they had Nelly, and I think they had somebody else when they performed.
And Missy Elliott came out a couple years ago. Like it's not anymore. It's not like and Dre and Snoop, like most of their stuff's gonna be together. Eminem and Dre, a lot of their stuff is they can do like their duets.
Song, like California Love?
Can you do California Love without Tupac?
I mean, I don't know. It's the first Super Bowl in California since like the or LA.
Yeah, but
since,
you're gonna.
They might do just like Dre's verse, and then I don't know.
Do they have a hologram Tupac?
They might hologram Tupac. Out on bail for shot of jail, California. Drew, like they might hologram Tupac,
or just do like that very first part and gets everybody hype, and then they go into like something else.
America the Beautiful is going to be sung by Jehane Aiko.
Oh yeah, I got all their albums.
Aiko, I nay.
I don't know if I probably butchered that. I'm gonna just exit stage right now.
Aaron, we're not done with you.
But yes, I'm looking forward to. I'm thinking of just filming my dad the whole time during the halftime show because he will be annoyed and beyond belief
and drunk.
He's not a Snoop guy.
No, he's not really into the hip hop scene. You know, most 66-year-old white guys aren't, but
yeah, I mean, it's the classics.
I mean, he went to college in the mid to late 70s. Not really his brand of
That then he would have been even better if you had him for like the Aerosmith one and NSYNC and Britney Spears came out.
Yeah, he'd really love that too.
Well,
bye.
Who performed in Atlanta when Outkast did it? Because there was a bunch of people there in Atlanta too.
I don't remember.
So he would want like
Outkast was just
his halftime show would be like
the Who?
The Allman Brothers, Marshall Tucker Band,
the Carpenters,
the Little Feat. That would be his ideal halftime show. Just like the 36-minute version of Whipping Post.
It's going to be the best concert you ever went to.
No, it will not come close to being the best concert I've ever been to.
Maybe the most expensive.
That it will be. Yes, I feel confident in saying it will be the most expensive concert. I will have the most expensive drinks that I've had at a sporting event, the most expensive food I've had at a sporting event. Like, oh, Chad, you'll like this one. So there's a, I don't know if I told you this, the Guy Fieri Celebrity Tailgate.
Yeah, are you going to that?
No. Hey, okay, Aaron. Guy Fieri Celebrity Tailgate. Like mega celebrity chefs, like big dogs, and like 50 NFL players. 4 hours before the game, open bar, all the food. How much do you think tickets are?
It's more than a car.
Well, not $875.
That's honestly less than what I expected it to be.
But it's still insane.
I mean, I thought it would be
party.
To go to a tailgate party for 4 hours.
I mean, if you go to any party, though, in LA that weekend, like just to get into a bar or something, you're going to be spending something outrageous. Like, I would imagine you're paying at least $100 to get into anywhere.
Yeah,
just to cover.
Is almost $1,000.
Well, I mean,
for 4 hours.
Are you driving or are you Ubering? Because either way, you're going to spend a mortgage payment.
Yeah, how are you getting around? That's a good question.
The car services.
Oof. The premium rates are going to be.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just the price of California. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it.
Are you parking at the stadium though?
Oh no, I'm not renting it. No, we're going. We'll probably go early somewhere, a mile or two away, and then walk in. And you can't get anywhere near the stadium to like park or anything.
Well, I saw parking was going for like $500 to $800, $1,000 for a parking pass. Christ.
To then sit there with 80,000 people to try to get in and out of there, you got to no way.
No. Well, how many of those people are actually driving themselves at that point?
That's the thing too, is like half the fans are from LA.
Did it even sell out?
It's not. I mean, there's plenty of ticket prices have dropped big time in the last couple of days.
You're gonna be able to get a ticket for like $1,000, $1,500, like right around kickoff.
Yeah, they're down to like 3,500 now.
Yeah,
crazy.
What is the?
Well, you have 30,000 upper deck like
Nosebleed seats, right?
Yeah, that nobody wants to. You're not spending $8,000 on one of those tickets. You're just not going. Nobody's going to do it.
I can't wait. I can't wait until those assholes who bought up all the white hoodies that they wore on the field the other night for the pep rally and are reselling them for twice, 3 times what they paid for them. Go on, like, what are you going to do with them after the Super Bowl? Like,
yeah, the problem is they probably sold almost all of them immediately. Those things were
they sold out within 2 hours.
Fresh. I mean, the people that bought them for resale are probably going to sell them before Sunday.
You can still get them on eBay right now for like 400. They started at 160 retail, and now they're going for like $400 on eBay.
What, the ones like the guys actually wore?
No, not with the numbers.
Just that design.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a pretty sweet design. Like it was a pretty dope looking quarter zip.
Yes.
I'd like it more if it was in black.
What did you need me to stick around for?
What are you doing? What are your plans?
Oh, I'm going to Mom's, and then I'm gonna be in Cincinnati for the week.
Okay.
There's games like every other night, so
yeah.
Plus our event on Friday.
When does UC play next week? What days?
Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday.
Perfect.
All home. We just talked about that.
The parade will be on the 16th then. Perfect.
Oh, nice.
Three home games. Tuesday against.
You just go home UC game, parade, home UC game. That's a nice little middle of the week.
Well, if you want to
Tuesday
tailgate
against Memphis, and then Thursday against Wichita.
If you want to tailgate for the parade, I live 2 blocks from the stadium, Dave.
I might take you up on that. I have to see what the parade route is.
I imagine it'd be in and
close
around
enough to Aaron's house that you could walk there. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. I think what's the Super Bowl menu, Aaron? Have you figured it out yet?
Lots of dips.
Always dips.
I don't know.
Skyline dip? Have to do Skyline dip?
I have no idea. Like I said, I think from my understanding that the news of the day today was that they may be completely making a hard U-turn on wings and instead setting up a Skyline cheese coney bar. And I'm so down for that.
Can't go wrong with that.
No.
I think I'm going to do like one of the, they do the sliders, Dave, that you guys had at your tailgate.
Yeah. I'm
going to do the big tray of sliders. Maybe one, 8 ham, 8 roast beef, and 8, should I do some burger sliders as part of that? What do you think?
Sure.
I know we're doing ham and cheese sliders also.
I don't think there's going to be many people here. I think there's only going to be like 7, 8 people here, so it's going to be small.
Oh, do you want me to? I can get you. Do you want me to get you that recipe that we had at the tailgate? The Italian sandwiches on the Hawaiian. Those rolls that we had.
That's kind of what we're doing. I mean,
yeah.
I know the deal on those. I know how to make them for the most part.
Jamar Chase wins Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Travesty is going to be when Zach Taylor doesn't win Coach of the Year, but
Travesty.
I think he'll take where he's at.
Travesty is going to be when Joe Burrow doesn't win MVP.
He'll have time. All right, we're just kind of
rambling
around now. So let's get out of here. Enjoy the show, Aaron. Enjoy the Super Bowl, Dave. Safe travels to LA. Bring back a winner.
I'll do my best. If they don't win, it's not my fault.
You've done all you can.
I mean, I have this year. I mean, I'm pretty much responsible for the success of both collegiate and professional football teams in this city.
You are.
By attending their games.
It's a cross you bear, and I'm glad you're continuing.
Proudly.
All right, we'll see you Wednesday for stories from LA. And the Bearcats have 2 games between now and then. Saturday at Tulsa, at home Tuesday night with the throwbacks, the Cats uniforms against Memphis. So thanks to everybody for tuning in. He's Dave Simone, producer extraordinaire Aaron Smith behind the curtain. I'm Chad Brendel. Enjoy your time at the Holy Grail, watching the Bengals win the Super Bowl. It's the BCJ podcast right here on BearcatJournal.com.